Okay, should work now. It keeps OBS never saves my settings, I find, so it's often very finicky, but we're here. Welcome everyone to my second 2026 chess tournament. Just a fun chess tournament I thought I would do with the community while I'm still taking a break, largely from Hellish Court events, but we're still from time to time doing the USFC every week, so that's still on because I didn't want to let that event die. So I'm gonna say 11:12. We're gonna start my time, so that is like 3 minutes. I gave a last minute warning for those on the Discord to join ASAP, so they should all be ready to go. If not, we can delay it further. But that's the scoop there. Let me just link this. I won't be in commentators chat just for the purposes of keeping the commentary a little bit delayed if I end up commentating some other games. It looks like everybody's here, so that's good. And we'll start within 2 minutes. I'll just run to the bathroom real quick. Looks like everybody here, maybe Tao has joined, possibly, or he's just watching. I think that's just people in the chat. But it looks like everybody's here. Let me just refresh that real quick. No, he's just in the chat. That's fine. Okay, and we're good to go. Good luck to the participants. I'll just bring the chat up on my phone here. And this is Swiss Rapid 1510. You guys know the drill. I haven't changed anything. 4 rounds, although we have 5 people, I decided to go 4. And let's go. I'm playing against Piper. This is Piper, for those who are not aware, to start off, which is exciting. Hopefully Piper's around. Who be pinging me? Yeah, that Swiss sometimes is a beer. Not much can be done about that. That just means you get a buy, so don't worry too much about it. Piper plays some offbeat openings sometimes, but it's very tough to play against. I don't know. Just trying to think, is that a threat? Is this better? No. Oh, it's pretty easy to defend though. You see how fast Piper plays too. Hmm. Surprisingly complicated position, but I think this is the right move. Yeah, he comes in with the knight. That's obviously a threat. If I allow that, what else? There's this. Knight protects. But he's also like applying pressure, so it's like I take, but then I lose a pawn. No, that gives up a knight. Yeah, I think I just can't allow him to win the pawn. Yeah, he wins that one anyway. It's tough. Well then. Gotta get my knight out of there, but I guess this is okay. Yeah, I knew that was coming, but it's like, what do I even do? Appreciate it, Venu. Feels very defensive, but I think three pawns for a knight. It's about equal of a trade as far as the number of points, but I don't know if it's actually better is the thing. Take there, it's a check. It's pretty simple what he's planning there. Yeah, I mean, if I check here, he's got that. It's a terrible idea, so I think treating moves usually aren't the best, but I do not see a better way forward there. This is a tough, tough game. Okay. No way. This feels like a really high level game, actually. I'm really impressed. I don't like that pin on my pawn, so. Notice how Piper spent like zero time too. It's incredible. Incredible. see what you've done. That's funny. Good game, Piper. Wow. You were very, very tricky there. I was lucky you made some kind of mistake there. 'Cause I had to find some kind of opening to get my queen involved and just get some kind of decisive win after you attacked my position like that. Wow. Okay. That is quite a game to start off with. So now we're watching Platypi against Oak. Looks like they're still going. Platypi appears to actually be up in material by 1 point. Has that knight and the bishop for the rook. A lot of players do think that the rook is better, but actually that's often not the case. The two pieces are equivalent to the rook, but the two pieces typically, if they're used properly, are more powerful. So a knight and a bishop, as a general rule, is better than a rook. And I believe there's a pawn advantage too in favor of Platypi, so that's even more so the case. It is still up to Platypi to use the pieces well, though. There's definitely situations where if you don't play properly with those two pieces, you don't coordinate them well, the rook can still prove to be a stronger asset. So what's true in theory might not actually be true in practice, depending on how good these players are. But Platypi seems like he's a pretty decent player. Oak, by the way, is a favorite this tournament. He won the last time. Yeah, so I would say Platypi is winning. It's just very hard for, you can see it's very tough for Oak to actually get these rooks to do a whole lot. His position is pretty locked down. The pawn structure does look a little questionable, but I really don't think that's a big deal. The fact is the position is solid and Oak can't really do much. At the same time, I don't see a checkmate right away against Oak on the board or anything, so he can definitely stay in the game longer, hope that his opponent makes some kind of blunder. Yeah, it's definitely not over, but I'd say Platypi is pretty clearly winning. For fair play reasons, there's no eval bar, so we don't know like for sure what the computer thinks of this position, but I would suspect that Platypi is up on the eval bar if there was an eval bar. Don't know by how much. I'll say +3 or something. I'm not an expert on that stuff, so yeah. See, these rooks really cannot work together very well in this position, and that's why it's so awkward to make them work even against the two pieces. But It looks like a trade is offered. Question is, will Oak take it? Well, thing is, I think he has to, unless okay, he's going for a check, which makes sense. Again, trying to get momentum back on his side at the very least. I don't know if it actually works, but he might be able to pick up another pawn and then still trade. I think a trade is kind of inevitable here. It's just a matter of on whose terms it's going to happen. The king can still move, but I don't think. Ooh, interesting. So the king goes to attack the rook. That allows a check, and actually the trade is avoided because of that move. So that's actually good for Oak here, as Platypi is being hunted down. And this is a situation that Platypi did not want to be in, and actually all of a sudden, Oak is up material. Nice check there, though, trying to maintain the advantage, but I do not think there is one. Bishop was not moved to cut the king off, but the king is still very cornered. There actually might still be something here. But the pawn there, pretty crucial. And it looks like Oak has managed to escape crisis here. He might be able to go hunt the king down. But there's still no checkmate, like right on the board is the problem. So I think we're gonna play on for a bit longer, because there's still mistakes that can be made on both sides. But two rooks against a bishop and a rook, that will favor the two rooks. I like what he's trying here, though, trying to corner the king. If there's a mate on the board, this is the type of thing you want to do. Whether one actually exists or not, I don't know, but logically speaking, this makes a lot of sense. I think the two rooks should be able to stop any sort of threat from black, but it's definitely an idea. So a rook was just blundered there, but it was not seen. My goodness. That was a nice move. A nice move saving the rook there. Yeah, that's a very high level move. Pinning the bishop so that it cannot take the rook. However, the pin no longer exists. He was able to move the rook, so all is still good. Once more, a pin on the rook. Or sorry, on the bishop. I'm confusing pieces. A lot of people do that, bishops and rooks especially. Uh, I've noticed on YouTube videos, even like professionals will confuse them. But yeah, that bishop is pinned to the rook. It can be defended, but that also means you give up any attacking chances. You're just sort of stuck there. And obviously, white has the pawns to fall back on. That's pretty huge in an endgame. So it's looking like Oak might have this. Again, very high level player, so I'm no surprise he makes comebacks just like Hellish Quart. He does much the same thing there. There's a check there. Um, yeah, it looks like the position is about to collapse now. Oak has a pretty clear advantage. Nice. Yeah. And now Oak just has to prove that mate is on the board at some point. But that's up to him to figure it out. It's pretty straightforward, though. You go for the ladder mate, and he seems to know how to do that, so beautiful. Not that I'm surprised there. If Oak doesn't know how to ladder mate, I'd be very surprised of how well he plays. Okay, players are being paired. Get ready for the next round. It happens right away. Sorry for the wait, by the way, for the tournament. I wanted to see if we could get at least one more person to play. I probably would have still done it, like if push came to the shove, but I think five is better than four. Don't know about you guys. I think everybody's gonna get a bye at some point. Just so you're aware, that's often how Swiss works if numbers are not ideal. There isn't really a round robin option on this site, so I had to go with Swiss. I think Swiss is more efficient anyway, but it's a lot like round robin, especially with these sorts of numbers. Okay, I'm playing against Platypi now. Hopefully Platypi is around. 12 seconds to play the first move. Uh, nice, okay. The beer cracks me up. Okay, yeah, this is why you have to be careful playing offbeat sort of openings. Your opponent is still able to punish you. Now, if you go here, next move threatened would be something like that. Okay. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll just play my next move. I did have that, didn't I? Just picking up a pawn, but it's okay. Doesn't win the game, but forces him to move and picks up an extra pawn. Okay, he's going for. Actually, no, I don't have that. He's queen defense. Yeah, so that was. Yeah, that makes sense. My line of thought made sense. But this now works. Kind of a difficult move to spot, actually. A lot of people have blind spots to moves like that. I've fallen for that stuff as well. Very, very easy to forget that the queen can move, or the bishop, whatever it happens to be, can move very far across the board. Queens are especially powerful for stuff like this, though. And again, he's got ways to obviously get his king out of danger, but I don't think he can actually defend the knight. Just kind of double checking the knight's actually free. Yeah, I don't see anything. Hmm. Yeah, so I see what he's trying there. I think that's still okay, though. Uh, shite. I think I was focusing there. What did I do wrong? Yeah, so there. Fuck me. Yeah, this happens when you don't focus. I was like just a little bit not like unfocused, and I think I just lost the game like that. It's amazing. I or did I? Hang on. If he goes there, yeah. So there's a bunch of things I did wrong there too, beyond the old "oh, I lost focus" excuse. The lost focus excuse, but that's definitely part of it as well. Okay, but I actually think I can save this. Sort of. Still not great, but yeah, still not not great by me, but I saw the one move I think that keeps me in the game. And see, that's why I wasn't concerned about back rank because I saw this and I saw this and I was like, "Oh, I'm okay." And I just took the bishop. But am I actually okay? Got this to reinforce the rook as well. Yeah, I think somehow I'm actually still fine. It's incredible. I might be losing, but like I'm not out of the game, so excellent. Okay. But yeah, there were a couple things I did wrong there too. I'm not going to mention them now, but a couple things I could have done differently to prevent any of that from working. Let's put it that way. And I think Platypi is still unsure. Like it's like actually kind of complicated now, so I don't blame him for taking some time to think this one through. Yeah, to be honest, I'd be a little bit stumped as well. I think that was what he had to do there. So well spotted by him. And now it's up to me to avoid what's coming next. There's a couple ways I see. I don't know if all of them work. Fuck. Yeah, it's terrible. See, I think if I go here, that still looks fine for him, doesn't it? But I don't want to lose a full knight either. Yeah, I think we do that first. Just prevent any of that from happening again. Slight time advantage, but I really don't think that matters. Platypi's taking his time, but not to such an extent where he's at any risk of running out of time. Yeah, okay. And I just realized something else, but thankfully it actually doesn't affect anything because I accounted for that in particular. Yeah, Platypi is a strong player. I'd say he's at like Oaks level from what I'm seeing, aka my level, so pretty damn good. Intermediate level, thereabouts. Yeah, so that, again, it doesn't win, but it puts him on the road to winning. Let's put it that way. Now I'm gonna do what I should have done ages ago. Really, right now, it's gonna be a matter of winning on time. I really don't think that's happening. It's much less complicated for Platypi. He's up a queen, literally, and a rook, and two pawns. And I feel like there's a lot of things he could do to make this clearer that he's ahead. Yep, good game. Where did I go wrong? It's probably just where I let the queen through, and simple as that. I thought I was winning, but then yeah, I thought I was secure because of all those pieces, but I guess not. And I lost a little bit of focus there, and then from there it's all about stopping mate. I don't know, because I thought all of this was fine. I don't know. Good game. Oh, I think I'm in a bye at the moment, so that actually is fine. Or are there two ongoing games still? I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just in a bye, which is fine. What I'll do is I do have to step away for a little bit. Let's look at Oak versus Piper. I'll just put that on the screen and I'll commentate in a bit. Once I get back, I'll be back soon. Well, sorry about that, guys. I didn't expect Piper to have to go. So it appears a whole lot of nothing has happened. Let's head over to Beer against Platypi. I went to that one because I thought it'd be the most interesting while I left, but it's okay. These things happen. I'm sure Piper will be back. So it looks like it doesn't actually forfeit your matches. It just ticks down if you're late, and it gives you a little bit of a window to show up before that happens. Platypi castles and so far it looks fairly normal. Although Beer does have the queen out a bit early, and I know I'm saying that as somebody who had mine out early. That's because I thought I saw an opportunity to be tactical with it, but not so much. There wasn't really as much of an opportunity as I had been hoping. Couple things threatened here by Platypi. See if a Beer is able to lock in. Moves the queen. I guess the idea is. I'm actually not sure what the idea is, to be honest. I guess attacking the knight, but I'm pretty sure the knight just moves. Now, where is the knight going to move is the question. That is exactly the move I saw. Platypi played exactly that move that I was looking at. Didn't want to say it, but essentially he's forking the bishop and the queen. Whether or not he'll take the bishop, we will see, but yeah. He's basically asking the queen a question like, what's this queen doing in my territory all alone? And it's basically a minefield now to get out of there. In fact, is it trapped? Not quite. No, he's still got a couple squares. Yeah, he could have even gone all the way to the other side of the board if he wanted, but looks like he was looking to pick up that bishop, which makes sense. Although the bishop is a little bit inactive, it still often is a good idea to trade the knight for the bishop. So I'd say that's still a good move. Not a knockout blow, but makes the position just a little bit better. Takes the pawn. Yeah, that's looks like a free pawn to me, more or less. Knight can threaten the queen, but again, I think you just kick the knight out somehow. And a Beer's position seems to be collapsing. Okay then. There's a hung queen on the board. I didn't want to say anything because This is a very crucial moment in the game, and just on the off chance somebody's listening, I don't think they are, but on the off chance somebody's listening, I wanted to stay quiet and just let them figure out what was going on. Uh, Believe it or not, it actually might not be over. There's actually some nasty stuff that could be cooked up, but you gotta see it. And obviously black, like if black does see the threat, then black's fine. There you go. Yeah, so Platypi had to notice that mate was incoming, but to be fair, queen on the board, pretty massive advantage. That's not a good place to be in. But if certain things happened, I do genuinely think there could have been something that could have been done. But yeah, hanging the queen, a little unfortunate. Yeah, so Oak is ahead on time because Piper, in true Magnus Carlsen fashion, is late to his game, but he is nevertheless here. And so far pretty equal, although Piper having picked up the bishop is pretty nice for him. Pawn structure, I'm not really a fan of either player's pawn structure on the flanks, to be honest. But I think Piper's is a little bit more solid. That said, Oak is trying to infiltrate with the knight there, maybe make an outpost. He's threatening two pieces now, but we'll see what is done about that. I think I do. Yeah, this is the part of the game where you're gonna start to see some tactics from either side, depends on what they end up seeing. Yeah, but things are definitely gonna get very interesting. Nice. So that's actually the move I was seeing. Threatening the queen, so this threaten your bishop essentially doesn't matter. So the idea is to win a tempo with that move. Queen moves. I do wonder though, like, okay, I think that's still fine. Yeah, I would have. This is a move I would have seen, but I would have stopped to calculate it first because you can see it's really intense. But yeah, it still looks pretty good. It's just a matter of finding the follow-up. You can see Piper is a very fast player, so the time difference, I imagine, doesn't actually matter that much. Interesting. He goes with the rook check. Uh, does that work? It's certainly a very interesting move, but I'm not sure if that was the play right there. I think there was a follow-up. I'm not sure that was it though. But these things happen. And I think the knight is trapped, is the other thing. I imagine that's what Oak was concerned about. He was like trying to break open the position and make something happen, but yeah, Piper seems to be in pretty decent shape now. Unfortunately, well, actually, yeah, he's kind of won a tempo back. That can be the problem, but there we go. Oak is able to find a way to retreat. I didn't want to mention that, but there does exist that option, thankfully for Oak. But initially, it did look like his knight was trapped. I was wondering about that. Yeah. Oh, take with the knight. That happened really fast. Let me see that. No, he just took with the knight. Wow. But there's the rook. He took the rook with the queen. So that was the idea behind that. Now the rook is threatening to infiltrate. And it's actually still looking like a pretty powerful attack by Piper. And this is how Piper plays. You can just infiltrate his position and cause havoc. He's still thinking about attacking. He at no point is thinking about defense. At no point whatsoever is defense on the menu. And that's up till the point he gets mated. That'll tend to remain the case. Defends with the bishop, which seems sensible. Promise I'm not bored, I'm just tired. That's why I left actually. I was grabbing coffee. Yeah. On paper, Oak is still winning, but Piper's attack does not look fun to defend against. Let's put it that way. But having pinned that bishop, I think that's a pretty big step for Oak. Or he didn't really pin the bishop, it's more Piper pinned himself to the king. Which is often not what you're supposed to do, but there really was no easy move there. Like, the best you could hope for is you move the king somewhere else and maybe you get some type of queen trade, but I'm not sure if Piper wants the queen trade right now because that would reduce the potency of his attack by quite a bit. And then he's stuck with bishop and rook, which is kind of awkward. It's theoretically fine, but the other thing is Piper is down pawns, as you can see. So if he were to just mindlessly trade, Oak would still have the material advantage. So yeah, Oak is still going for some type of counter attack. Piper, no surprise, goes straight in to check the king. And this could actually be a bit of a blunder on Oak's part, as he's forced to move. There's really not much he could have done there to protect that knight. But having moved, it is worth noting he is attacking that rook, so it actually is a bit more tricky than it looks. Piper finds the correct follow-up by the look of it, attacking the knight twice now. I think the knight can now get out of there, though, is the trouble. Yeah, and the knight is actually a nice defensive resource for that rook. The bishop is pinned still, trying to exploit the pin. They're both trying to essentially catch the opponent's minor piece ASAP. Yeah, so takes, and that's a check, which I think is very crucial. Because again, it's looking decent for Piper at first, but the fact that Oak has a check on the board keeps him in the game. Is there a knockout blow though? I wonder. Yeah, that's definitely a move I was considering. Yeah, I think there we go. I think that's it. I think Piper has lost. I think a ladder mate's incoming. Yeah, pre-moved it. Nicely done. And this should be the last round. And Oak is on track to just win the whole thing once more. Platypi defeating me was obviously a bit unfortunate for my chances. I'm still pretty happy with that win against Piper. It feels like that took out all of my energy just beating Piper. So, regardless of the fact Piper lost, he did a pretty damn good job. I'm not surprised I'm playing against Oak. So, good luck, Oak. It just makes the most sense given the points right now. And the fact that he already played against Devere. And we're moving at a pretty reasonable pace, again, considering we started at like 11, like 2 hour tournament, not too bad. Cannot complain at all. Ooh, Racer playing some Hunt. Yeah, I'll probably play some Hunt after this tournament. Yeah, for anyone who is wondering how Racer is doing, I haven't heard much from him, but he's still around. He's still alive, just taking a break from the server. But yeah, he's doing. He is alive, so that's good. Just there's some real life stuff that I won't get into publicly that he's dealing with, but otherwise he's fine. Need a more socialist approach. This is kind of scary. All this nonsense he's able to do now. If I relinquish control of that. Don't like how drawish this position is looking. Theoretically, actually, Oak is ahead, but still looks very drawish to me. And it's simply because he's up a pawn. Sometimes, if you're not making any other blunders, literally that one pawn is what matters, and nothing else. Don't necessarily like doing that, but I feel like there's not much else that can be done. I think that's a good move anyway. hope I'm not miscalculating something. I know it's a trade or something, but I think I'm okay. Just trying to force him to make a tough decision. The trouble is Oak is still up the pawn. So that's what I'm most concerned about. Can equalize that though. Does Oak want to down time? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, we're in the end game. Gotta think this one through. There has to be a win. Um, Oak would have to like go here or here. Surely I win the race here, but do I win it here? Yeah, so if I like go here, for example, and he were to go here, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I'll shadow his king a bit. Because what I can then do is even if this doesn't work, yeah, I think so he's trying to get opposition, I think is his idea, or he's trying to head here, one of those two things. I need to prevent his king from getting anywhere here, so I think this is good. Or not, but if Oak wants to mess with that, that's fine by me. Can't stop them all. Yeah, I think I just had to head here from the beginning. That's fine. I think that's a famous draw, actually, now that I think about it. I remember Daniel Naroditsky, RIP Daniel Naroditsky, I think he was talking about something like this in one of the videos where if the pawns are stacked like this, like there were just two pawns, I think that's actually a draw now that I think of it because it's on the edge of the board. So I had to just go for this one from the beginning, but because the pawn was there and I'm up like three pawns, it's still a win. Good game. Oh, that was a great game. And I actually won. I'm kind of surprised, but it's really just came down to me beating Oak. I thought losing against a platypi, because often in these tournaments, when you lose at all, it's kind of rough, but in this case, it didn't matter that much. So, still, platypi played well. GG to him. And a good game to Oak as well. Literally just a smidge of a difference between the two of us. And it was a good game. Ultimately, me giving up the queen for the two rooks was good. And I think just forcing Oak to trade the way I did, although it probably still left the game a bit up in the air. I think the queen was just more flexible. So getting rid of his queen proved to be the better choice. I don't know if the computer agrees, but given the way things played out, that definitely seems to have been the case. Fascinating game. But anyway, I won't leave you guys any longer or keep you guys any longer because I've already kept you a bit longer than I expected because we were waiting for that fifth person to join. Good games, and I'll see you next time.